In the vast, star-studded expanse of the Andromeda galaxy, the united human ship Valor cruised silently, its engines humming softly as it carved a path through the cosmic sea. Aboard the vessel, a crew of Earth's finest prepared to push the boundaries of known space. Lieutenant Sylvester Peters, the young communications officer, was the first to detect the anomaly. His console beeped erratically, a signal slicing through the static of space. "Captain, I'm picking up something unusual," he reported, his voice a mix of excitement and caution. Captain Ramon Harris, a veteran of space exploration and the commanding officer of the UHS Valor, approached with a steady gait. "Report, Lieutenant." "It's a distress signal, sir." "From a planet in Sector 47G, Peters replied, adjusting his headset and refining the signal. Dr. Carolyn Sherman, the ship's chief science officer, joined them, her eyes alight with curiosity. "A distress signal? That far out in the galaxy? What could possibly be?" Before she could finish, Commander Terry Alvarado, the tactical officer, interjected. "It could be a trap, Captain. We should approach with caution." Harris nodded, his gaze fixed on the star map. "Agreed. But it's our duty to investigate. Humanity didn't reach the stars by playing it safe. Prepare for a detour to Sector 47G. As the Valor altered its course, the crew felt a mix of trepidation and thrill. This was what they trained for, what they lived for, to explore the unknown. Engineer Tracy Morrison checked the ship's systems, ensuring that the Valor was ready for whatever they might find. "All systems green, Captain. We're ready to make the jump." With a nod from Harris, Peters initiated the jump sequence. Space warped around the Valor as it slipped into hyperspace, the stars stretching into lines of light before snapping back into focus as they exited near the mysterious planet. The planet was unlike any they had seen before. It was vibrant blue with swirling white clouds, but its beauty belied the desperation of the signal emanating from its surface. Dr. Sherman analyzed the data streaming in. The planet's atmosphere is breathable, but there are signs of severe ecological damage. "It's like nothing I've ever seen." Commander Alvarado prepared the landing teams. "Remember, we're not just explorers, we're also ambassadors of Earth. Let's show them what humanity is capable of." Captain Harris smiled, his confidence unshaken. "Let's go make some new friends, or at least give them a fighting chance." The UHS Valor descended through the swirling clouds of Andromeda 5X, its landing gear deploying with a hiss and a clunk onto the alien terrain. The landscape was a tapestry of vibrant colors, but the beauty was marred by a palpable sense of decay. The crew, led by Captain Harris, disembarked with a mix of caution and awe. As they approached the nearest village, the sight that greeted them was heart-wrenching. The exhilarating, a race of slender, bioluminescent beings, moved slowly, their glow dim with sickness. Despite their frail appearance, their eyes sparkled with intelligence and a dignified grace. Dr. Sherman, equipped with her bioscanner, approached a group of exhilarating cautiously. "Hello. We received your distress call," she said, her translator device smoothly converting her words into the exhilarating's chirping language. A taller exhilarating, adorned with intricate body markings, stepped forward. "I am Threx, the healer of our people." "You are truly from the stars?" "Yes, we are humans from Earth," Harris replied, his voice firm yet friendly. "We're here to help if we can." Threx gestured towards the center of the village where a large organic structure pulsated weakly. "Our genetic core, the heart of our race, is failing. Without it, our people will not survive more than a generation." Commander Alvarado, always skeptical, whispered to Harris. "Sir, are we sure we want to interfere? This could be nature's course." Harris nodded thoughtfully, but responded, "Our course is to offer help where it's needed. That's the human way." Engineer Morrison, who had been examining the structure from a distance, joined the conversation. "Captain, I think I can stabilize their genetic core temporarily. It might give us enough time to find a more permanent solution." "Proceed, Morrison," Harris ordered, his decision made. With a nod, Morrison set up her portable tech station, interfacing her advanced human technology with the exhaloxy's organic tech. It was a bizarre sight, the pinnacle of human ingenuity connecting with alien biology in a way no other species would dare attempt. Lieutenant Peters, meanwhile, engaged with the younger exhaloxy, who were curious about the humans. He showed them images of Earth and shared stories of human exploration, which were met with wide-eyed wonder and eager chirps. As Morrison worked, Dr. Sherman assisted Threx in administering a synthesized compound she had whipped up, designed to bolster the exhaloxy's immune response. "This is a temporary fix," Sherman explained, "but it should improve vitality until we can figure out a more permanent cure." The intervention was a success. The genetic core stabilized, its glow brightening, and the exhaloxy's energy visibly lifted. Cheers erupted from the village, and even Commander Alvarado couldn't help but smile at the sight. Threx approached Harris, his expression one of deep gratitude. "You bring hope to our people." "How can we ever thank you?" Harris shook his head. "Seeing your people thrive is thanks enough. But we're not done yet. We'll work with you to ensure your survival." Back aboard the UHS Valor, the atmosphere was charged with a palpable tension. The crew gathered in the main conference room, orbiting the vibrant but troubled world of Andromeda 5X. The debate at hand was crucial. Should they intervene in the natural evolution of the exhaloxy or let nature take its course? Dr. Carolyn Sherman stood, her expression serious, reflecting the weight of her argument. "We have the technology to help the exhaloxy," she began, her voice steady and persuasive. "It's not just about playing God. It's about responsibility. Humanity has faced its own genetic crises in the past: pandemics, congenital diseases, environmental disasters. Each time, we've used our ingenuity to overcome these challenges. What gives us the right to withhold that same hope from another species?" Commander Terry Alvarado countered, his stance rigid, his tone infused with a mix of caution and respect. "But where do we draw the line, Carolyn? Today it's the exhaloxy, tomorrow it could be another species, and another. Intervening like this, we're not just helping, we're altering the course of an entire species' evolution. That's a heavy burden, one that carries risks we might not fully understand." The room buzzed with the murmurs of the crew, each member wrestling with the ethical implications. Captain Ramon Harris observed the exchange, knowing a decision had to be made soon. Lieutenant Sylvester Peters chimed in, youthful enthusiasm lighting his features. "Isn't this what makes us human? Our ability to take risks, to push boundaries? No other species in the galaxy dares as we do. We've turned our own survival crises into opportunities for advancement and growth." Engineer Tracy Morrison nodded in agreement from her seat. "Our technological prowess is unmatched." "Yes, because we dare to venture where others hesitate. Our interventions have not only saved us, but have propelled us to the forefront of galactic civilization. This could be a defining moment for humanity, a chance to demonstrate our capabilities not just in technology, but in ethical leadership." The debate continued, with points and counterpoints swirling around the room. Dr. Sherman added, "Consider this: by helping the exhaloxy, we're not just playing God. We're being human. We're acknowledging that with great power comes great responsibility. This is about more than survival. It's about compassion, about extending a hand to a fellow sentient race that's crying out for help." Commander Alvarado, though skeptical, recognized the passion and conviction in his colleagues' voices. "If we do this," he said slowly, "we need strict controls. We must ensure that our help today doesn't become a dependency tomorrow. We must empower the exhaloxy, not make them reliant on us." "Captain Harris," having listened intently to his crew, finally spoke. "This is who we are. We face the unknown with courage, and we extend help where it's needed. We'll proceed with the intervention, but with the utmost care and respect for the exhaloxy's sovereignty and future." With the decision made, the UHS Valor became a hive of activity. Captain Harris had given the green light, and now it was time for humanity to do what it did best: leap into the unknown with both feet, armed with nothing but ingenuity and a sense of moral duty. Engineer Tracy Morrison was at the heart of the operation. Her workstation was cluttered with holographic displays of DNA strands, biochemical data, and the exhaloxy's genetic blueprint. It was a puzzle of cosmic proportions, but for Morrison, it was a challenge she relished. If we can tailor a CRISPR-Cas9 system to the exhaloxy's genetic code, she mused aloud, we might just be able to correct the flaw at its source. Dr. Carolyn Sherman was by her side, her expertise in xenobiology proving invaluable. The exhaloxy's genetic structure is remarkably similar to some terrestrial plants, she observed, pointing to a sequence on the display. If we use a viral vector, we can introduce the corrected gene sequence without damaging their existing genome. The plan was audacious. It involved creating a synthetic virus, one that would carry the corrected gene sequence to every exhaloxy, rewriting their genetic destiny. It was a technique humanity had used on itself in the past, curing diseases that were once thought incurable. But applying it to an alien species? That was uncharted territory. Lieutenant Sylvester Peters and Commander Terry Alvarado were tasked with preparing the exhaloxy for what was to come. Through careful communication, they explained the procedure, using metaphors and simple language to bridge the vast cultural and biological gap between the two species. The exhaloxy, for their part, were apprehensive but hopeful. The prospect of a future for their species was too tantalizing to ignore. The day of the intervention arrived. The Valor's medical bay was transformed into a makeshift genetic engineering lab, with Morrison and Sherman at the helm. The first batch of the synthetic virus was ready, a glowing vial of liquid that held the key to the exhaloxy's survival. With Harris and the rest of the crew watching, Sherman administered the virus to a group of exhaloxy volunteers. It was a moment of high tension and higher hopes. As the hours passed, the crew monitored the exhaloxy's vital signs, waiting for any sign of change. And then it happened. The exhaloxy's bioluminescence, dimmed by generations of genetic decline, began to brighten. It was subtle at first, but soon it was undeniable. The genetic flaw was being corrected, the synthetic virus doing its work with precision and efficiency. The crew of the Valor erupted into cheers, hugging and high-fiving as the weight of what they had accomplished began to sink in. They had done it. They had used their uniquely human blend of technology and tenacity to change the fate of an entire species. Captain Harris watched the celebrations with a proud smile. "This is what makes us human," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "Our willingness to reach out, to help, to heal. Today, we've not just saved a species. We've shown the galaxy what humanity is capable of." As the days turned into weeks, the transformation within the exhaloxy community on Andromeda 5X was nothing short of miraculous. The once dim glow of the exhaloxy now radiated brightly across their villages, a visible sign of their rejuvenation. The genetic intervention had not only halted their decline, but had imbued them with a vitality that their elders had only known from ancient stories. Captain Harris stood on the observation deck of the UHS Valor, watching the bustling activity below. The exhaloxy, now full of life, were expanding their villages, rediscovering old technologies, and even beginning to explore their own planet with a newfound curiosity. Beside him, Dr. Sherman reflected on the broader implications of their actions. "We've altered the course of an entire species, Ramon. It's an incredible achievement, but it's also a tremendous responsibility. We need to ensure that this power isn't misused. Commander Alvarado, who had been one of the most vocal skeptics initially, nodded in agreement. It's a fine line between helping and interfering. We've set a precedent here, one that other human expeditions will look to in the future. We must be cautious not to become overzealous in our role as galactic guardians. Lieutenant Peters, ever the optimist, chimed in with a lighter tone. But think about the message we've sent to the galaxy. Humanity isn't just about survival and conquest. We're about hope, about giving a second chance to those who need it most. That's a narrative worth telling. Engineer Morrison, who had been instrumental in developing the gene editing solution, was busy documenting the technical aspects of their intervention. We've pushed the boundaries of genetic engineering to a whole new level. This data could revolutionize how we approach similar situations in the future. But, as Terry said, we need to be mindful of how we apply these advancements. As the crew engaged in their reflection, a message arrived from the newly established Exhilarating Council, a group of leaders and healers, including Threx, who had been part of the initial contact. They expressed their gratitude and a desire to join the interstellar community, with the humans as their mentors. Captain Harris responded with a message of support and a promise of friendship. Today, we've not just saved a species, we've gained allies and friends. Let's continue to be the example, not the exception, in the galaxy. The crew gathered to discuss the future. It was clear that their journey was not just about exploration, but also about the ethical implications of their technological prowess. They agreed to establish a protocol for future interventions, one that emphasized respect, consent, and minimal interference. As the Valor prepared to leave Andromeda 5X, Captain Harris gave one last look at the thriving Xyloxy community. This is humanity at its best, he mused. Bold, compassionate, and daring. We venture into the unknown not to dominate, but to uplift. May this be our legacy across the stars. The UHS Valor set course for their next destination, leaving behind a world forever changed, but also leaving a part of themselves, a testament to human ingenuity and spirit. In the vast, often indifferent galaxy, humanity had carved out its role, not just as survivors or explorers, but as guardians and healers, a beacon of hope in the cosmic sea.